Alright, so patch 5.0 is coming out in less than 2 weeks, and we've just had the first trailer for Natlan, the flowers resplendent on the sun scorching sojourn, which is well, that was a lot. There was a lot in that trailer, and I know that judging what's going to happen based on a trailer isn't always the best, but I'm gonna give it a whirl and see what I can figure out from it. I've also have done multiple predictions before, so I'm just gonna run through everything real quick and then go from there. So things I have predicted so far. Regarding the Pyro Archon, I predicted that she would be a main DPS, Claymore, and that she would self-immolate. Regarding Capitano, I predicted that he would be helping the Archon and get the Gnosis as a reward for helping the Archon. I predicted that he would be Claymore, he would not be playable in Natlan, and that he would be physical. Specifically, he would either be Cryo or Electro with a gear towards physical, kind of how like Eula is Cryo, but all her damage is mostly physical. I also predicted that Natlan would be fighting against the Abyss, and that the Traveler would help to resurrect the Pyro Archon. In one of my predictions, I said that it's possible that the Pyro Archon was dead and that the Traveler resurrects her. And I specifically say her because in Dainsliff's introduction to Natlan in the first teaser for the game, he specifically says when the Pyro Archon shares the secrets of war, she has her reason. So we always kind of knew that the Pyro Archon, at least in some respect, was a she, whether it was an old one or the current one. We now know it's the current one. We didn't know that specifically, but we always knew that there was a she somewhat involved. Anyway, so those are the things that I have predicted regarding Natlan. Things I got right so far, and I think we can say with certainty that Mavuika, and I apologize ahead of time if I'm saying that incorrectly. I looked up a pronunciation. That's how they said it was pronounced, Mavuika. If I'm wrong, my bad. Please somebody correct me. So Mavuika is a Claymore user. We saw that from the thing, and she sets her hair on fire, so that's the self-immolation. Maybe not quite as much as I wanted, but hey, the slime theory still lives on. Natlan kind of is fighting against the Abyss. They did a big fight, according to the trailer, they did a big fight in the past, drove them back, and then they're using the Sacred Flame to hold them back. And the Sacred Flame is kept alive, basically, by the battle power or the battle prowess of all the people who compete in the pilgrimage. So it's basically willpower turned into flame, which feeds the fire. Which is okay. That's kind of cool. We'll just have to see more on how that works out. Also, I said that Capitano will be helping. I do think he actually is helping, even though he is fighting against Mavuika in the trailer. I think that he is helping, but I'll get more specifically to that later. Things that I got wrong, obviously, were the Traveler resurrecting the Archon. The Archon is alive. It is possible that he helps resurrect something else, but we don't know that. So, as of right now, I'm going to say I was wrong on that one. I was also wrong, and this was a long time ago, that Capitano is the fourth Harbinger. Obviously, Arlecchino's the fourth Harbinger. Capitano is the first Harbinger. So, I mean, I'm just pointing out that I was wrong about that. It's not really relevant, and we've known that I've been wrong about that since, I don't know, for quite a while now. I was also technically wrong that we would not get the fourth Harbinger as playable before we got the fifth Harbinger as playable, since we have Arlecchino, but we don't have Pulcinella yet. Which I think is weird. Like, why are you giving us the stronger of the characters first? But, you know what? It's fine. They don't all have to be... We don't have to necessarily get the strongest in order, I guess. Variety is the spice of life. Pulcinella doesn't have to be as strong as Arlecchino, I suppose. It doesn't mean he's not going to be usable. Alright, so things that we need to see. We still need to see what Mavuika's role is. We don't know if she's going to be main DPS or support or what everything. We also don't know what her kit is going to be yet. And we need to see more about the resurrection and how that ties into the story, because the Natlan chapter is titled An Ode to Incandescent Resurrection, or An Incandescent Ode to Resurrection, something along those lines. All those words are in it, it's just maybe not specifically in that order. Let me look it up, actually. Yeah, okay, so it's Incandescent Ode of Resurrection. So something is getting resurrected. I don't know what it is. We'll find out eventually, but we still need to see what it is. It is I have an idea of what it might be, but I'll go into that into this next part. So, the stuff that we learned from the trailer, or at least we can try and speculate from each other. So, people from Natlan have the Night Soul Blessing, which is a special ability that they can all use. It can be used for travel, and it can be used as part of their combat kit. So, Kachina has her Turbo Twirly, which is the little top drill thingy that she can ride around on. So hey, we got mounts. But that her Night Soul is the Turbo Twirly. Mulana, I think that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if I say that wrong. Has the Shark Surfboard, and Kanich has the Grappling Hook. So I'm guessing that all Natlan characters will have some Night Soul thing. And from what I can glean from the trailer and just like passing knowledge of Latin American culture, is that the Night Kingdom is their version of the afterlife, or maybe like the land of the remembered. If anyone knows any, if anyone's seen like the Book of Life or Coco from Disney, where the dead are and they're partying and everything, but they only exist there so long as somebody remembers them. So I'm thinking the Night Kingdom is that sort of a thing, where so long as they found some sort of glory to make them remembered, their soul of some sort exists within the Night Kingdom, and that soul blesses their descendants. So the Night Soul is just the ancestral power of their families that are still manifested. So, like, for example, there was somebody in the trailer who said, "Why can't I find him?" And I think that they were looking into the Night Kingdom, so to speak, for one of their ancestors, and they just couldn't find him. And I think the reason why is because the Abyss is corrupting the Night Kingdom. Again, that was from the trailer. So, ancestral spirits are being wiped out or taken over or corrupted or something, and it's affecting the people of Natlan and their Night Souls. Night Soul blessings. Mavuika, in regards to Mavuika, her Night Soul blessing. So I think we can agree to an extent that Mavuika won the role of Archon. I don't know if they have, like, if she is the last year's champion. Like, I don't know if it's a yearly event where, hey, we do the pilgrimage and whoever wins the pilgrimage becomes the Archon. That seems really bad as an idea, because every year you potentially have a new ruler. You can't really do much in a year. So I think maybe it's, you have the pilgrimage, you get all the strong people, and then like every maybe 10 years or 100 years or something like that, whoever wins, or they get like a battle of the champions, and whoever wins that becomes the Pyro Archon. So I think we can agree that, to an extent, we can agree that Mavuika is the current Pyro Archon because she won the position. I could be wrong. I could 100% be wrong. She could just be yet another extremely powerful, old-ass character. Or, potentially she is actually an extremely powerful, old-ass character who has just had the position since forever because she's undefeated. but I think that she won the position in the pilgrimage. And so, um, that said, I think she will obviously have her own Night Soul spirit, possibly from an ancestor of hers, or possibly a random connection that we don't know. And I'm wondering if it's the thing that she did in the Ignition trailer where she turned into a bird. Potentially, that's what she actually is she's a bird who gained human form after becoming the Pyro Archon. But I kind of want to see if what her Night Soul's blessing is that she turns into a bird and can travel in bird form, just like really fast, gliding, like not Skara level of elevation, but definitely, so not vertically high, but horizontally she can go for long distances. That would be interesting for me. Not sure how that would necessarily work into her kit, but as a mode of transportation, I think it'd be interesting. Finally, the last thing we need to know, and the last thing we can speculate on, that I'm going to speculate on, is what happens with the Gnosis. So we know from the the announcement stream for 5.0 that we are going to have Archon quests in 5.0, 5.1, and 5.3. So we're skipping 5.2. I'm not quite sure why, but whatever. And so let's just go with that. So in 5.3, the Archon quest ends. Okay, great. Assuming it all goes as all the other Archon quests have gone, the Fatui will get the Gnosis. So then what are they doing in between 5.3 and 5.8 or 7 or whatever, 9 or whatever the end of the Natlan version will be? There is at least 4 to 5 patches in between the end of the Natlan Archon quest and the beginning of the Snezhnaya Archon quest. So why are they waiting? What are they waiting for? Which makes me wonder, do they actually get the Gnosis? What will happen to the Gnosis? It's always possible that they have to gather all the Gnosises, or Gnosi, whatever. I think it's Gnosises, but I like saying Gnosi. And then wait for some sort of celestial event, like the moon is in perfect alignment, or some random ass star constellation alignment thing. Possibly that's what they end up waiting for, but it's also possible that they don't get the Gnosis. Mavuika could have hidden the Gnosis. Mavuika could have given the Gnosis to somebody else and then sent them on their way. I know there's a lot of people who like to say that Bennett has the Gnosis because he's so unlucky and the Gnosis gives him bad luck. I personally think that it's the Traveler who will end up with the Gnosis. So that was one of the things that I also said, that that Capitano would help Natlan, and that he would get the Gnosis as a reward. And so I'm changing my opinion on that because of timing. Because I don't know if what they're going to be doing in between 5.3 and 6.0. So I think possibly that the Traveler will end up with the Gnosis. And I specifically think the Traveler will end up with the Gnosis because in the case of the Animo Gnosis, or in the case of all of the Gnosi, the Traveler has been sort of a catalyst to help the Fatui get the Gnosis. So he distracted Venti, which allowed La Senora to lock him down and steal the Gnosis. He helped the Qixing in protecting Leah so that Zhongli would go through with his deal and give up his Gnosis. Yaimiko traded the Electro Gnosis for the Traveler's life. Nahida traded the Dendronosis for knowledge to help the Traveler. I mean, she was interested herself, but you cannot tell me that part of it was not because she also wanted to help out the Traveler. As for the Fontanian Gnosis, the Hydronosis, Traveler helped take down the Narwhal, which led to Cirque. telling Nouvelette more about the Gnosis, which made him realize, oh, I don't want this thing, I'll just give it away. So the Traveler has, to some extent, not somewhat directly, somewhat indirectly, definitely indirectly in regard to Fontaine, helped the Fatui gain the Gnosi. So why not just make the last Gnosi the one he gives them personally? Mavuika gives the Traveler the Gnosis and says, you can decide what to do with it. You can keep it for yourself, or you can use its power all you want, or you can give it to the Fatui if that is your choice. And in the end, what's going to happen with Snezhnaya is that the Traveler is going to get an invitation to go visit. Possibly from Piero or Pulcinella. They seem to be the more diplomatic members of the Fatui Harbinger, the politicians, hey, I'm the head honchos, so they would be in a position to say, well, I'm in charge of Snezhnaya, and I'm offering you, I'm the head of Snezhnaya, so I'm offering you to come over here, visit, have a chat, we can work out a deal. Definitely more so than some of the other members of the Harbingers, since technically the big diplomats are Arlecchino, that we've seen anyway, are Arlecchino and La Signora, and, well, La Signora's dead, and Arlecchino technically could be the one to talk the Traveler into going, but I think it would be a really interesting way to introduce the other Harbingers if they invited the Traveler into Snezhnaya to discuss the potential of giving the Gnosi. If that is the case, if the Traveler does get the Gnosis and then goes to Snezhnaya, what I think will end up happening for the Archon quests is he's going to do some exploring, and then it's going to be some sort of like espionage, try to keep it away from the Fatui, kind of like just keep it away from the Fatui, hidden motives, intrigue, speculation, and in the end, either they will lose patience and do an all-out fight, or the Tsaritsa will do an all-out fight, or the Traveler, or they will finally find a way to convince the Traveler to give the Gnosis to the Tsaritsa. Possibly, in a way, it'll be that the Tsaritsa herself invites the Traveler to her personal, whatchamacallit, bedroom, domain, courtroom, and explains her side of the story and just tugs on the heartstrings of the Traveler and gets them to finally give up the Gnosis, and then she uses the Gnosis power, goes up to Celestia, and I still personally think she's going to get her ass handed to her, but, whatever. On the plus side, on the other side, if it's a fight, he ends up fighting the Tsaritsa for the Gnosis, I still would love for a cutscene. But he's fighting the Gnosis, he's fighting the Tsaritsa, she's using all her cryo powers, possibly even using the powers of the other Gnosi to fight him, and then he's losing, and then the other Archons show up and help him out. They somehow just appear and like nullify the various effects of their Gnosi, and that would be a really cool cutscene, just to see the connections that he built with all these really powerful individuals coming to fruition and them coming to help the Traveler out. Also, another possibility is, of course, that the Abyss attacks Snezhnaya, and the Traveler realizes that they have no other choice but to help out the Tsaritsa in her goals, and gives her the Pyronosis so that she can use all their powers to repel the Abyss. Also possibility. But that is all that I have been able to glean from the 5.0 trailer. I am very much looking forward to Natlan. I think it's going to be great. I love the look of Mavuika. I like her aesthetic. Her hair is amazing. And I cannot wait for another Archon, and just to see the fight between her and Capitano. I hope it is a lot longer than the brief snippet that we got in the trailer. That looks like it will be so interesting. But anyway, if you found my insights at all interesting or agreeable, please like and subscribe. If you disagree with anything I say, agree with anything I say, want to add anything of your own, please leave a comment. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.